Hey, I'm Katie. I'm one of the owners of Northside Espresso and Kitchen in Kingston. And one of the things that we really love about running a restaurant is that we get to work with some really beautiful food from local farms around here. And our kitchen and our kind of food section of our restaurant is really important to us. But one of the things that I'm really passionate about as well is the coffee side of things. I'm from Melbourne in Australia, and it is one of the biggest and greatest coffee scenes there is around the world. And one of the things that I really loved before moving to Kingston was learning from some of the best roasters around on the best ways to make coffee and to keep a really consistent cup of espresso happening, and also to learn how to do that in a filter coffee. So today we're going to be using these incredible filters by Amuse. They have 50,000 holes per filter, or micro holes, that allow the crema to really come out of the coffee, and for those oils to really get into your drink and make it, just a bigger depth of taste. And more of an espresso style coffee. The beans we use at our shop at the moment are by Monogram, which is a roastery in Calgary, and they're really beautiful at doing seasonal coffees that really the flavors come out really nicely. You can extract a beautiful chocolatey espresso from them. So today we're going to be using the Aeropress Go, which is a newer, more compact version of the original Aeropress. The thing I love about these guys is that they make a really sweet filter coffee, super easy. There's 1,000 ways to do it differently. So you can really play around with the way that you make your coffee. But today we're going to be looking at how to make a more espresso style drink out of the Aeropress. So rather than having that really beautiful fruity filter style thing that you get as your morning cup, this would be something that's more suited to making a latte or an espresso martini or that kind of thing. So you're going to fill your grinder with about 30 grams of beans, which should give you the equivalent to about a double espresso. Where possible, you want to grind your beans fresh. So whether you have this kind of style hand grinder, whether you can get them done at the shop when you take your beans home right before you make it, or if you have a more electronic one, the grind that you want them to sit on is a medium to fine. So not fine like espresso, because that'll be really hard to get the water through the Aeropress. But you want the water to be able to sit within the grinds for a little while to really get that flavor out. So what I've got mine set on is just a medium to fine grind, and we're going to grind the beans up. I don't know where to look doing this. Once you have your grinds, you're going to put them just straight into your Aeropress. So obviously you have your Amuse filter in the bottom there. It's all set up, cap's on tight, and you put it over a cup of coffee. With your cup, make sure the cup's not too big or too small, but yeah, it just fits perfectly on there like that. Grab these beans, all ground up, medium to fine grind, and we're just going to pour them straight in there like that. Make sure they're kind of evenly distributed, and then pop them down like that. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to bloom the coffee. So what this means is when you bloom coffee, you put a little bit of boiling water onto the coffee. So when I say boiling, you want your coffee to be sitting at around 93 degrees, but really boil your kettle and then leave it a second, and then you can pour it on. To make it bloom, what you do is you just cover the grinds, and you do them just so that they start to open up with that hot water that's on there. And to make sure that's evenly distributed, you just get your paddle that will come with the Aeropress, and you just mix them slowly around and make sure that there's no little dry pockets or air pockets or anything like that. And they can just sit there for a minute, and what you'll see is the water starts to absorb into the beans, and they'll just open up slightly. And then you get that really beautiful first coffee smell. After that, you leave it about 30 seconds, and that just gives it enough time to bloom and get the coffee kind of happening. Because what we're going to do next is pour water through that, and really get that coffee flavor coming out. To get that espresso style coffee coming out of here. We're going to fill the rest of the water up to about a 2 on the Aeropress. So normally if you're making like a good strong cup of coffee, you'd have it up at a 3 and even above. But if you want a solid espresso, thick, beautiful, kind of filled with crema, as much as you can get without an espresso machine, you want it up to about a 2 or just under. So again, you grab the hot water and you just fill that up like that. So you'll see in here, you'll see the oils start to come out. You'll see, you'll give it like a little stir just to make sure that all the water is getting to all of the grinds, so it has a little minute to absorb. You see on here it's like thick with oil, and what the great thing about the filter that we've got in there today, the Amuse filter, is that it will keep as much of that crema in there as possible when we put it into the cup. So we wait about 45 seconds for this one, just to let some of the flavour really draw out into the water there. Now, the beautiful thing about the Aeropress is using pressure from the air to press this down and get the water to come through the coffee. So what will happen is you'll have a little bit of time where you don't hear anything, and as the Aeropress gets to the end, it will make a kind of hissing sound. That's when you want to stop. That's when you know the coffee's gone all the way through. And yeah, so you're just going to get your hand and press it down as evenly as you can. And this is why you need a stable cup. That's it. So there you have your espresso style Aeropress. Again, you can use this in a whole lot of different ways, whether you just like a strong, bold, like kind of espresso style shot, whether you want to make a latte, an espresso martini, there you go. So yeah, thank you so much for coming and joining us and learning how to do this. Thanks again, and we'll see you soon.